Pink for the holidays. Hi, welcome to another video. Today we're going to make these two super glamorous Christmas arrangements in pink. If this is your first time stopping by my channel, welcome. My name is Katherine Bergman, and I'm a florist with over 30 years experience in weddings and events, sharing all things floral with you. The holidays, my favorite time, and we're going to do these incredible arrangements today. Are you ready? Let's get started. So the first arrangement we're going to tackle today is this tall candelabra arrangement. You guys know I rarely design in a vase and love to use all sorts of props. And from time to time, I love to show candelabra arrangements because nothing's more spectacular. And it's actually just a pretty ordinary low arrangement on an exceptional prop. And it's wonderful to learn how to do this if you really want to create something spectacular for your home. What I have here is a 4-branch candelabra with the 5th branch converted with a silver tray. Now, if you find these at estate sales or online, buy one. I've got a lot of these actually from events I used to do. I have actually 30 of these, not these exact ones, but similar to this. And I use it all the time. And so you just want to convert that 5th branch in the center with a silver tray of some sort or a matching tray. Now, instead of designing in the candelabra tray itself, what I like to do is design in a small tray like this. This is just an acrylic tray that I sprayed silver. I couldn't find one the same size as the tray I have up here, so I just chose a 6-inch, and we're going to be able to get a pretty sizable arrangement in this 6-inch Lomi tray. It's just acrylic tray that I spray silver so that if we see a little bit of it, it won't be jarring. And I have in here about a 3rd block of floral foam taped down. And we're going to design in here. And when I'm doing an elevated design, something that's going to be seen from below, I will elevate the tray off of the turntable so that I can see it from the sides and sort of on the bottom. So that's all this is. This is just a pillar to hold this tray up for design purposes. The reason you want to design in an acrylic tray is, number one, this is really tall and hard to deal with, right? And number two, it's not transportable if you decide to put foam in here in this tray and tape it down. Then you have to carry it around with the arrangement. I much prefer to carry the candelabra on its own, put it in place, and then place the arrangement on top. Now, if you're doing for home, it's less of an issue, but we would do like 20 of these for a wedding, and there's no way you can have these upright in the back of your cargo van and not have it tip over. So these are the tips I'm showing you. Now I'm going to put this aside so we could do the arrangement. And when you're doing the arrangement, just be mindful of how big and how wide it goes, because you want to make sure you have room for your tapers and it kind of goes with your prop. So the materials we're going to use today are not the traditional holiday colors. I wanted to use pink and whites and silver just to do something different. You know, I get tired of doing the all red and all white, or red and white and green arrangements for holidays. So I'm going to mix it up a little bit so we have these incredible roses in this pale blush color. You know, sometimes I'm just inspired by the materials I can find at market. I found these incredible giant garden style roses at market in December, if you can believe it, right? So I'm really excited to use this as our main material today. These giant, beautiful pink roses and these romantic dendrobium orchids, which I think will be spectacular, cascading out of a tall arrangement, right? And I also have some hydrangeas and some hanging green amaranthus that maybe will cascade down the candelabra. And I like to mix in a little bit of bling sometimes in our Christmas arrangement. So I just bought from Hobby Lobby these silver glitter, I don't know, feathers or something like that. And they're inexpensive. They're $6.99 for 2 stems. Okay. We're going to green in lightly with some of this Western red cedar because I just like that feathery material. Not a lot, because we have a lot of giant flowers to put into this arrangement. So I pre-cut the cedar so that into little small pieces that we can use. So I'm just imagining sort of a low kind of cascading round arrangement. And when you're designing for an overhead tall centerpiece, either if it's on a candelabra or on a pillar, you want to be mindful of what it looks like from the sides and the bottom and not just the top. When we're doing low centerpieces, we only care about how it looks from the top down, right, and around. But in these arrangements, you want to make sure you are designing to be viewed from the bottom as well. It's very spectacular to do tall arrangements. And that's another way to kind of amplify your flower material. You'll see that this arrangement, of course, is going to be pretty sizable, but not gigantic. It's about the size of a large centerpiece, but it's going to be very impactful because we're going to elevate it on a prop. That's always sort of been my thing, that I always like to do arrangements, you know, that are in unusual containers or unusual ways to think about things you already have in your home, just to use them as vessels for your flowers. And then when I'm greening in with cedar, I try to put it on different planes and different angles so that it looks more, it has more dimensionality to it. Like instead of putting everything in, you know, flat in, I'll turn it, some of these pieces, so that you have nice coverage, but not flat. If that makes any sense. Okay, I think that's all I'm going to do. And then I've got some greenish white hydrangeas here that I'm going to use low in the foam, set it in so that it kind of covers our foam without too much greens. What I have here is the Quick Dip. I talk about this every week, Floral Life Quick Dip. All it is a floral conditioner that you use in conjunction with floral preservative. And you just put some in a bowl, dip your flower stem in that's been cut for 1 to 3 seconds, and it really, really helps your flowers last a lot longer. Not sponsored by them, but I should be. I'll link that in the description. I think you could buy that on Amazon. So it's a really great thing, and it really, really helps the flowers last a lot longer. I feel like Quick Dip is almost more important than floral preservative. I don't know what is in it, but it just helps your flowers take up water. So I just have 3 stems of the white hydrangea. We're cutting it short and sinking it low in the foam to kind of cover our foam without having to green in too aggressively. Because we want this to be a very luxurious looking arrangement. So that means something that has a lot of flowers and not tons of greenery. It's a different look than something more natural and filled with greens. Okay, now is the fun part. We get to use these giant pink roses. So sometimes when you find roses that have a lot of petals, high petal count like this, they don't always open. There are a lot of flowers like that at the market. You know, you look at them from top down, they're wrapped tightly in their bundles, and you think, oh, this has such high petal count, they'll open, but they don't all open. This one actually opens and it's gorgeous. You know, I forgot the name of this rose. I saw it. It's a new rose to me. It's called something Queen. I'll look it up, and if I could find the name of it, I will link it in the description below. But it's an Ecuadorian rose that's grown to look like a garden rose. So the stems were actually very long. They were 60 centimeter stems, and they weren't too expensive. I was shocked at how, you know, affordable they were. Wholesale, I think it was like maybe $30 for 25 stems. So this is not highly skilled arrangement. We're just kind of doing kind of a round arrangement with lots of roses, since we got so many of these, and they'll be really spectacular on the candelabra. I actually love pinks for Christmas. I think it's very romantic and unexpected, and it works so well with like golds. You could do rose gold, you can do gold, or you can do silver. I've seen a lot of pink Christmas trees lately. Like the tree is actually pink. I don't think I'd go that far, but I think pink flowers for your Christmas dinner or a Christmas party is something different, right? So this is kind of an easy arrangement in terms of flower placement. We're just trying to create a lush, clustered arrangement with lots of roses. Okay, I'm going to stop with the roses for a second and add some of our other flower materials. I have pale green amaranthus, which I think would be pretty cascading down, right? I like pale green with pink. I think that's a very pretty color combination. So we're going to have some cascades of amaranthus. This is the season for amaranthus. There's tons of it at Flower Market. They come in burgundy, kind of golden yellow, and green. And they could, sometimes they're very long. These are like medium long. And then there's also short ones for if you just want like a feathery little spray. Okay, we've got our amaranthus added in. Okay, let's do our orchids. Beautiful dendrobium orchids from, I think, Singapore. They come 10 stems to a pack, and they're not that expensive. About $20 wholesale at the San Francisco Flower Market, which is, you know, reasonable for these beautiful orchids. I have so many stems in that little piece of foam. There we go. Try to get it in there. Okay. Now I'm going to let it kind of stick out all over the place because I want it to kind of spray from the center. And be very dramatic on our candelabra. You know what, this one's kind of upright. Let me find one that's curved more. There we go. You don't have to use Christmas greens in here. I'm using it just because, you know, it's a holiday arrangement, right? And this is another arrangement that I want to show you because it could easily be used for a wedding or some other event. You know, you could just swap out the Christmas greens and do some other greens, and this could be a really beautiful arrangement for a wedding. Quite spectacular arrangement actually for a wedding, I would say. See how this the orchids add so much drama to this arrangement? I'm trying to keep it nice and long. for a minute. I'm also looking to make sure we don't need to green in more. We do. There's some bald spots here. Also making it kind of big for this little tray because we're going to put it on a larger tray on a very tall prop. I would say in general for arrangements, I rather err on the side of an arrangement being slightly big for its container than one that's too small and just looks like a little lollipop or something, especially if you're doing a tall arrangement. Okay. Okay. We have one more stem of orchids. Let's see, where do we need it? Maybe right here. Okay. And then we're going to add in some of our blingy silvery feathers to give it a more festive look. See, with one stem of something like this, you can get several stems out of it, really. Okay, so I've cut the individual little feathers off of the stem and just put it on picks so it's easier to use. And we're just going to go ahead and put them in here. I think there's some taller ones I'm going to put in the top here. There we go. Trickiest part of using a lot of these faux materials is just separating them and cutting them. Okay. Just thought this would be pretty coming out of our arrangement for a more festive, kind of Christmassy look. Definitely skip that if you like a more natural look to your arrangement. Adds to the glitz and glam of this arrangement. It's not for everyone, but you guys know I'm a maximalist. Too much is just perfect. Okay. And we're all done with this arrangement, I think. Let me turn around and take a look at it. And then the fun part, we're going to place it on our candelabra. Now, isn't that spectacular? The second arrangement is just a standard low arrangement, but I'm going to do in this really glam container. Now this is just a cylinder vase that I wrapped with this rhinestone wrap. Remember this was kind of a big thing like 10 years ago? I still have a lot of it, and it's been a while since I used it, and I thought this would be a fun video to use this wrap. Now, because it's a glass cylinder, I lined the inside with this silver waterproof vase wrap. You've seen me use this with the tea leaf, the faux tea leaf. This is the silver version, just so it's more opaque and we don't see the green foam in here. So that's the mechanics of what we're using here. And I have floral foam in here and water. And it's just going to be a low, large, lush arrangement. And we're using the same types of flowers we're using in the candelabra arrangement. We're going to use that huge, beautiful rose and hydrangeas, as well as some silver accents. And I might do some Christmas ornaments in there to, you know, continue on with our pink look. Okay, so I'm going to start by greening in with hydrangea. It's not really greening in, but just kind of covering the foam with the hydrangea. I'm going to get my quick dip here so I can dip the stems in here. And we're just sinking the hydrangeas kind of low in the foam. to cover the foam because I don't want a ton of greenery in this arrangement. So I'm going to just use hydrangeas as a background flower so we don't have to use tons of greenery because we have a very wide mouthed container, which means we have a lot of foam to cover, right? It's not so bad because at least the foam's not exposed. It's sunk in the vase. Okay, with 5 hydrangeas, we have covered the foam pretty well. Now we're just going to add in our roses. I've got another bucket full of these incredible roses. They almost look like peonies. They're so huge. I mean, size-wise. Look at that. Really nice. This was the type of arrangement we were doing for weddings for many years. You know, when nobody wanted to see any foliage. I might use some Christmas greens. I'll see how the arrangement goes and if I'm going to use some of the greens or not. This arrangement is just kind of to show you the different textures we can use to design with. The roses and the hydrangeas, and then we're going to go ahead and use some beautiful ornaments for that pink holiday theme that we have going here. Arrangements like these, super easy to do, right? You just kind of make them round and roundy-moundy. But they're beautiful too, very lush and romantic, especially when you have roses like this. I think this rose is a little short. I'm going to replace it with this rose. And put this one over here, the edge. Very extravagant looking arrangement, the way we've used so many roses, right? Okay, now we're going to go ahead and put some ornaments in. I have wired these salmon pink ornaments onto a pick and also some blush pink ornaments onto this pick, on a pick. You know, we used to be able to get these kind of ornaments in in a pick form at the flower market, but I haven't seen it lately. So I've just been buying ornaments and putting them on a pick. It works. It's a super easy arrangement, right? I have some glittery silver fern-like accents here I'm going to add in here. I'm thinking maybe on the perimeters. Pretty easy arrangement, right? Very festive. Put one in the center here. I'm going to spin it around, see if we're missing anything. I think we're good. Now I think I'm not going to add in the Christmas greens. I like how this is very glam the way it is, without any greens, just ornaments, the rhinestone wrap, and roses, very lush. I might pull these roses out a little bit so they are not sunk so deep. Maybe add another rose in here. And couldn't be easier. So we're all done. This is super easy, super glam, beautiful Christmas and pink arrangement. Well, that was kind of a lot of work. At least this one was. This one's pretty easy, right? I hope you learned something today and enjoy the video. This is just a fresh, different take on the holidays if you're tired of red and white and green. For those of you who are new to the channel, please like and subscribe and click the little bell to be notified when I put out a new video. And for my loyal viewers who join me every week, hello and happy holidays. Glad to see you guys here, and leave me a comment to know how you're decorating for the holidays. I've opened up the community pages of my channel, and I love that you guys are sharing all the beautiful creations. So I'm expecting a lot of amazing things this Christmas. Happy holidays to you and your family, and I will see you in my next video.